Hello, I'm Beau.
And I'm Aaron.
And this is episode 9 of Azure Ages.
Mm-hmm.
Azure Ages is a show where we go back and explore games with that were arcade or arcade-like features.
Yeah. Something made for just the pure fun of it.
Irreverent fun is really our goal with Azure Ages. We've kind of stretched the rules a bit from time to time.
A little, but like
just a little bit, but
it still counts, I would say.
Absolutely. Excuse me, goodness. Without further ado, let's get straight into it.
Yep.
Today we're going to be talking about a game I've been begging to do since we first started, and that is House of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, House of the Dead is it's a light gun game. In my opinion, this series is the best light gun series ever.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
It has an irreverence and a quicker action than any of the others, and I think it's because of the fact that it's about zombies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because of that, it allows it to do more than, like, Time Crisis or Virtua Cop or something.
Or any of the other ones, Lethal Enforcer.
Lethal Enforcer.
Whatever. Stuff
like that. And it's funny because I've mentioned House of the Dead in the Discord a lot, and no one's biting because I guess just no one plays good light gun games. There's not a whole lot of arcade fans in the Discord, really. So
yeah, it's weird.
If you are an arcade fan, please join the Discord.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that. But House of the Dead... let's back up a little bit. For those of you who don't know, light gun games are the games where there's an actual physical gun object that you hold.
Yeah. One of the most
you point it at the screen and you shoot.
One of the most iconic, especially for people in our age group, is just think of Duck Hunt and the Nintendo Zapper.
So the Nintendo. But what's funny is I mentioned House of the Dead and it being the greatest light gun thing of all time, and Kyron, who does videos and stuff for a member of the Donoram Network. He was like, better than Duck Hunt? And it was just so... And I'm not calling you out, Kyron.
He's calling you out.
But it's just such a weird, like... It's kind of like saying, like, oh, my favorite rock band is Pearl Jam, and someone going, really? More than Paul Revere and the Raiders? Really more... Like, it's this weird thing, and there's a validity to it, but it's weird when people are like, oh, this thing that originated this thing is obviously the best one of these things. You know what I mean? Like,
I get that.
There's validity to it, but it just seems odd to me because I feel like there's just so much more going on in a game like House of the Dead or even Time Crisis or Virtua Cop than
Duck Hunt is a simple game, obviously.
Simple but wonderful.
But
I just feel like there's more to offer in later light gun games. And
I would say there definitely is. There are improvements made to the genre. Basically.
So light gun games are by their very nature rail shooters.
Yeah.
It's going to move you. You're not going to move it.
Yeah, and you just blast whatever's on screen.
Control the gun. Now there are times when you choose a path. But it's typically by shooting something.
Yeah.
Like you shoot some, like there's a gate, and if you shoot this gate open in time, you'll take that path.
Or especially in House of the Dead, if you manage to save someone versus not saving them.
Yeah, the House of the Dead, that's a huge thing. Because there's scientists that are still in Kyrian Manor that you need to, anyway, this game, believe it or not, has a story. It is not a very good one at all because this is an arcade game, and that's not the point.
Yeah.
That's the whole issue. So basically an experiment went wrong at the Kyrian Manor where a bunch of scientists were sequestered and now they're zombies.
Yep.
And you're two government agents who show up and apparently don't know that something bad. Like you just showed up.
Just
like
there.
You're just supposed to, like they get there with urgency. Like that car is zooming.
You even run over one of the little frog demon things.
Yep. I like that one of the tips in the remake, one of the tip screens is do not feed the frogs.
Yeah.
So this recently got a remake. It was released on the Switch. I think there may have been a PC and I don't know. The one I played was the Switch.
Yeah, I think
it might be Switch exclusive even.
I think it is. I could be wrong. I'll double check, but I think it is.
But it was just recently released. It's very fun. You're not gonna be able to use the light gun because there are no light guns anymore.
No, unfortunately
not. So
plus, if you want to be a real light gun, the technology doesn't even work with LED.
Right, that's the actual reason.
Yeah, which is a shame.
So it's cursed, but even on Dreamcast, which there was a
Switch only.
So nice.
Yeah.
There was a huge controversy with guns at the time of the release of House of the Dead 2 for Dreamcast because Columbine just happened.
Yeah.
Very understandable why they wouldn't be. So Sega did not make first-party light guns for the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
There were second-party ones, but Sega could still make the claim, we're not making light guns.
Yes. Yeah. They got the benefit, but kept their distance.
So most of us played House of the Dead 2 on the Dreamcast with the cursor.
Yeah.
And I don't think the cursor is a terrible way to play. I would rather play with a light gun, but I don't think cursor is a terrible way to play. But anyway, that's the only way to play the remake. I still think it's a lot of fun. My son and I have been playing it a lot. It is zombies. It is a lot of blood. It is a lot of guts. My son's 12. I think he's old enough to know what's real and what's not.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite clear that it's a zombie.
It's ridiculous.
Or it's a
ridiculous and over the top. And that's what, when you're a kid and you're walking through the arcade in the 90s, the loudest, flashiest system got your quarters almost every time.
I mean, that's the only way. Growing up, when I was younger, that's how I played House of the Dead.
Arcade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time I played it until I eventually got the House of the Dead 2 and 3 on Wii was in an arcade when I was in the 90s.
Yeah, and
And I sucked at it.
Not going to see a lot of House of the Dead machines. You're going to see a lot of House of the Dead 2 machines.
Yes.
You're not going to see a whole lot of House of the Dead, though. But
no, yeah. I probably played the second one.
I played the second one way more, and the second one is the best game in the series. But the first one, which we'll be focusing on today, I did play quite a bit. There were a couple of arcades that had it, because we didn't have House of the Dead 2 until 1998.
Yeah.
It was just House of the Dead in 1996. So, but I remember it was flashy. It has wonderful music.
Yeah,
the
it's
music's
actually pretty good.
My son even commented on it when we were playing it the other night. He's like, "This music's really good." Because Sega never misses with the soundtrack.
No.
They never miss.
Yeah,
even
they're
their
always on it.
Sonic 06 is probably one of the worst video games ever made. Soundtrack is still amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, this game, it had great music. It had loud sounds. It was yelling at you the most.
Yeah. Reload.
The arcades literally yelled at you back then.
Yes.
Even to come and play.
Yeah.
Like, they'd be like, they would almost actually be, "Come play me."
Yeah. They practically demanded your quarters.
So you would go and you pick it up. You had the light gun in your hand. You were shooting zombies. It was like, you were like, "This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the top. I don't know where we go from here."
Yeah.
I have no idea. You could beat this game in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like a half
in
hour
theory,
or so.
Yeah.
It's quick, but it keeps you coming back for more. And the remake has a lot of modes on it. So this was Sega AM1. So not the most famous studio. They did Puyo Puyo. They did the Revenge of Death Adder.
Oh, right.
They did that.
Didn't know that.
This is not like an AM2 where they just had hit after hit after hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
But it was a really good studio at Sega, and obviously very well put together. And I think Virtual Cop came first. I think
so. Yeah.
And after its success, they made House of the Dead, and this was before zombies were like everywhere.
Yeah,
this was
way before
everything was zombies. Like probably around 2002 is when like everything became zombies, and we just haven't recovered.
Whenever the Dawn of the Dead remake.
The Dawn of the Dead remake, and that just absolutely wrecked everything. There's The Walking Dead. And Marvel Zombies.
Yeah. Marvel Zombies is,
you
in
see
my opinion,
Jeeps around here a lot, like Zombie Survival Squad and stupid
As if
shit
you
like
ever
that.
take that Jeep off the pavement. Shut up. I have a personal vendetta against Jeep and all Jeep owners.
Adam has a Jeep.
I know. I'm sorry, Adam.
But this was before that whole cray, and like, so zombies weren't like over, and they were still a niche like horror movie thing. So it was very interesting. The game it's complete with terrible voice acting.
Oh, it's the worst.
It
is
worst
literally
voice
the worst,
acting
but it's
you've ever heard.
It's got some charm.
My
too,
favorite is right near the beginning of the game when you come across that the body of that scientist. And they go, "This is terrible."
Those ones are always so like the reaction. Like sometimes the NPCs have okayish lines, but the agent are always so bad.
So there's two agents. They have a name.
Who would do this?
And so this is very early in voice acting in video games.
Yeah. So they did not give two craps about it.
So basically, it follows the normal rail shooter pattern. You know, you clear an area of enemies, you move on. If the enemy, and these are zombies, so they're not shooting back at you. If they get most enemies aren't.
Yeah,
some
most
enemies
of
have
them.
projectiles.
Yeah,
but basically what it is the throwing axes, and you can shoot the axes out of the sky. That's what's really cool.
Yeah.
They approach you. Once they get so close, they harm you.
Yeah.
So you have to get rid of them before they harm you.
Yeah. And because they're zombies, just shooting them in the head or whatever is not going to necessarily put them down.
You've got to do enough damage to put them
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Headshots do count for more.
Yeah, but even if
on
you
most enemies.
Yeah, but even if you blow their head completely off and it's gone, some of them keep coming.
And then there are bosses.
Yeah.
And bosses you fight by striking weak points.
Yes, and that's like the only way you can hurt them.
Now, I don't remember if the original games had this, because the remake is now the freshest one on my mind. Did the originals flat out tell you the weak point? Because you noticed that in the remake, right?
Yeah,
There's a little piece of paper that tells you weak point.
Yeah, it's like a note, like someone's journal or whatever.
Did that happen in the original?
I can't say for certain in the original, like House of the Dead.
Yeah.
But in the original House of the Dead 2 and House of the Dead 3, they did do that.
Okay, so maybe that is something that's not
I think that's just the running
courtesy
theme of it.
because
Yeah.
it's an arcade game.
Well,
you know?
and then like even though like some of the weak spots are pretty blatant because it's like a glowing red thing on the enemy, other ones it's not apparent.
Well, actually, that first boss, Chariot,
Yeah.
which I forgot about this until I replayed it on the remake. All the bosses in all the games, it's the tarot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the tarot
it
deck.
is. Yeah, because there's you fight the Chariot, then you fight the Hangman,
Yeah,
and then
the Hangman's a cool concept.
Yeah, yeah, and then what's
the Hanged Man.
the Hangman.
Big distinction.
Yeah.
There's a difference, and of course, the tarot Hanged Man is not someone that's been hanged. It's someone that's been hung upside down.
Yeah.
So his perspective on the world is different.
Yeah.
It's a totally different, not as grim of a meaning. It's more of a hippie meaning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a badass name, though.
It is.
And
it is. Be a good
the House of
band.
the Dead boss does take the Hanged Man.
Yeah,
In the negative sense. But
what was the third one's name? The spider.
I can't remember. Was
Oh.
it Death?
Maybe something like that. I don't remember what it was. I just remember it was a big weird termite spider.
Yeah. Yeah.
It pooped on me.
It did poop on you.
I hated
it did. So the theming of this game is just on point.
Yes,
You've got
100%.
the Zodiac, the tarot bosses.
Close enough.
You've got all this, your government agents clearing out a mad scientist house.
Yeah.
G-Men. And the actual mansion, it's obviously bigger than any mansion normally would be.
Wait, yeah, it's bigger than even palace level, I would say, probably.
So
it's ginormous.
And to be fair, it's the manor, so it's the entire property, the entire estate.
Yeah.
It's just we talked about that arcade rush. Man, light gun games are going to give you that arcade rush.
Yeah, especially
absolutely.
Something like House of the Dead, because there's a lot of times where there's a lot of stuff happening at once. And something with light guns, to kind of equate like a light gun arcade machine to a modern listener, think of like VR. This was the closest we had because you had to do the thing. So, like, if there were zombies, and you're playing House of the Dead and you're in the arcade cabinet and there are zombies coming at you, you have to actively choose who you're going to hit, who you're shooting to protect your butt. And it can get frantic because you got to shoot them, you got to reload, and especially in this remake, if you're in like horde mode, like they don't joke around when they call it horde mode.
Right.
Like there's some serious shit happening on screen at once, and you will be frantically trying to just annihilate everything, and before you even realize what's happening, you are like in it, and like you get that rush because you're just fighting your way, like hacking your way through this crowd of dead assholes, and you get that just adrenaline hit afterwards where you conquered them. Like, oh, yes.
Yep. It's such a satisfying feeling.
Yes, I love it. And I'm glad that translated into this new one. I was a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, no, I think this remake's fantastic.
Yeah.
I really do. It came out on... So we got the House of the Dead remake on Friday, I think.
Sounds right.
What was the Friday before? Some Friday near now. We got it, and it was the same day that the Chrono Cross remaster came out.
Oh, yeah.
And that Chrono Cross remaster just went completely under my radar because of House of the Dead. I was so excited to get that, and I was most excited just to play with my son because he's never played this kind of game before. I mean, and he absolutely took to it, loves it, and he kept saying, he's like, man, this is like an arcade game. Like it plays out like an arcade game, and I'm like, yes, son, it is. It's an arcade game. And that's really what this is about. Is I just feel like that part of gaming is dying. We love these cutesy little indie games. We love these huge AAA narrative-driven games.
Yeah.
But we don't really have arcadey stuff anymore. And that's really what Azure Age is about, is trying to get that back out there.
Yeah. It definitely is a shame because, like we've kind of said before, every style of game has like a time and place kind of deal.
Absolutely,
There are times and reasons why something like Mass Effect or Red Dead or whatever is amazing and wonderful and great to play. And there are times where mobile games, great, wonderful little things to do. Arcade games are similar, and there is just something to be had about a game that its sole purpose is not a narrative, it's not impressiveness in terms of its graphical ability or its complicated AI or intuitive controls or innovative controls or whatever. That's the point. It's a game that is designed just for the fun of it.
Yeah, a game.
And that is...
Yeah.
I mean, weirdly enough, and this is debatable, sometimes it feels like the closest we have to that anymore are mobile games. But even then, mobile games are a lot of times idle games.
Right.
And idle games aren't even designed to be fun. They're literally meant to kill time while you're pooping. Like,
Thank you.
It's a real shame. Like, and this is coming from someone who is 9 times out of 10 a story-driven player.
Right.
I typically only play games that are narratively driven. With some weird outliers. Like, I have literal thousands of hours into Ark Survival. Not much narrative there that's driving it. There is narrative, but it's not really driving the game. But even there's just something so cool. And I guess maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know. There's just something so cool about the light gun games, especially, and the fighting games, and playing them on a cabinet where you dropped in your quarters and you're just going. And even the racing games, and I hate racing games normally, but there is something about getting into a freaking, an actual sim in an arcade and playing a racing game, especially if it's something weird like boat racing.
Well, I think Outrun is one of the best video games ever made.
Yeah.
And Super Hang-On is incredible because just moving the bike, moving the bike back and forth. It's a fantastic game. So yeah, Outrun and Super Hang-On strongly suggest those. Yu Suzuki masterpieces.
Definitely.
From Sega AM2, the Star Studio of the Sega arcade division. But yeah, in House of the Dead, I keep using the word irreverent, but that's really what it is. It's like there's never really a down moment.
No.
Like you might, and they brilliantly use little breather moments.
Yeah.
Where
I was about to say the closest you get is like a cutscene.
There's a cutscene, and you're kind of like, and there's really a sense in a cutscene of like,
yes.
It's kind of like it's kind of like when you break basketball for a free throw.
Yeah.
Kind of like, okay, I'm gonna let's breathe a minute.
Well, because a lot of times it's preceded by something so intense. Like,
exactly.
There will be some muscly zombie dude getting ready to throw a guy off a bridge, and you just trying desperately to waste this zombie to save the guy and not shoot him on accident like I do.
That's a huge thing. And my son kept getting mad at me because I kept hitting the hostages.
I usually try really hard not to. Every now and again, there's a hostage in every House of the Dead game I've played where I'm just like, you know what? Screw you. And I just tap them. Like, no, I'm not rescuing you. I don't care. Give me negative 500 points. See if I care about that.
And points. It's another thing that's just completely lost.
Point counter. The idea of,
having before leaderboards, we had, the thing in the arcade where you had to put your initials and everyone would take ass or AAA.
Anyone who's watched, who watches these Azure Ages videos, anytime one of the games we featured on this House of the Dead, Street Fighter, a couple of the other ones where it gives you that leaderboard and you get to put your name in. Look real close. Ass every time. I've done that since I was 8 years old because my mother wasn't looking. I could get away with typing ass on something.
I think there was there was a hard drive article or something, which is like the Onion for video games. It's fantastic if you ever get a chance to read it. But it was a legendary arcade player's ass and AAA meet for a legendary duel or something like that.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, you're always good to see a couple asses.
Oh yeah, it's guaranteed.
Lineup at the end.
It's a real shame that we don't get like games that do the point counter and tier thing anymore. Like I think that's a lot cooler in a lot of ways than achievement chasing.
I feel like now it would be like scan this QR code to input your score or something like that.
Yeah.
Like everything involves your cell phone. Now.
Yeah, in some way or another. Yeah, I'm sure it would.
Which is fine, so long as arcade culture would stay alive.
Yeah.
Right? I spoke a lot on our light gun games though. You kind of do see a lot of those. Our local arcade here in Newburgh, they have
Don't they have like I could be wrong, but don't they even have like an Area 51 or something like that?
Alien.
Okay, that's
it's one of the Alien. It's like Invasion really cool. Or something.
Yeah.
And so it's the assault rifle.
It's the pulse rifle. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a very fun game.
I'll have to play that.
It's a very fun game. They have a Jurassic Park one, more for kids, but it's one of the ones where it's an arcade cabinet. You actually get inside.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that one there. Yeah, because you're like in the Jeep, so to speak.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Halo has a great arcade game.
Really? That's surprising.
It's like Fire Team or something, Halo Fire Team, and it's incredible. The graphics are like Halo level. You sit in an apparatus with it. My son and I played it in where were we? Nashville. We played it in Nashville, Tennessee. There's a huge hotel. Ash, what is that hotel in Nashville? Is it like the Opryland Hotel? I don't know if it's the Opryland. It's one of the. It's something in that area of Nashville, and it's huge. There's like an indoor like town you can walk around shopping in and stuff. Like,
nice.
And they have a pretty big arcade there that you can play the Halo one at. It's fun, but yeah, the light gun. There's just a lot of so light guns have survived.
Yeah,
like
they've
survived a lot better than most arcade games have.
Yeah, well, there's something about racing and shooting, basically.
Yeah, the ones where you could feel like you're doing the thing you're doing.
Yeah,
that's really the arcades that have survived. The ones that still offer that sort of thing. But
that translates really well to arcades, and it's doing better than. It's doing better than like fighting games because fighting games work so well on console now too that like the idea of having your stick and it just it's not as important as it once
almost
was.
Everyone plays pad now too, so there's not much of a demand for that.
Yeah, see that's what I mean is like it once upon a time you needed to have a stick to really get into the nitty gritty of fighting games. I'm sure there's probably a purist pro fighter out there that'll disagree with me.
There's still a ton. There's still a ton that use that.
But now, I mean, fighting games are great with a controller.
Yeah,
it works
no problem.
perfect, But something like racing, especially, and something like a shooter like House of the Dead. I mean, if you have the object that you're supposed to be doing in front of you and you can use it next levels the entire game for you.
Absolutely.
A light gun does that for all shooters. Having an actual racing steering wheel in front of you for a racing game does that.
That sort of thing. The pedals.
Yeah, especially. Which is why those are so cool, and which is probably why a lot of people now are building like practically their own arcades by doing freaking race sims at home.
Yeah, they do
like
the
$20,000
and build those huge things. They make it to where the seat will rumble.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Freaking YouTube's starting to give me ads for those now. Don't know why. I don't know why YouTube thinks I have that kind of money. If I had enough money to build a racing sim that was worth anything, I would have my dream car instead.
Exactly. At that point, buy a car.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
But yeah, I strongly suggest any of you that haven't to go out and find a House of the Dead machine. Buy the remake.
Yes.
It's like $25 on Switch.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
That's really not bad at all.
It doesn't take up a lot of space, and I can't think of a better way to spend at the arcade than a good old-fashioned light gun game. I really can't.
I agree
so
fully.
Much fun.
I agree fully because like back when
it's funner with friends.
Yes,
it makes the game more viable.
Yeah, it makes it a hell of a lot easier.
There's I'll cover for you while you reload. All you have to do to reload is shoot off the screen in House of the Dead, but still
that's a precious second.
It's a precious second, and it's you do the call outs like I got this guy, this guy, like I take this half, you take this half.
That's how I usually did it. It's like, all right, I got the left half of the screen, you take care of the right.
like a great example is the first boss, Chariot. When you keep attacking his weak point until his armor falls off, at which point you have to shoot where there's still meat left on his body.
Yeah, you have to like predator fire into the wilderness level, unload on the dude.
So basically, at that point, my son and I, he's like, I've got the left arm, I've got the head, and we're just calling out the body parts we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
That way we can get rid of them faster. And it's stuff like that, just that natural teamwork.
Yeah.
Of not like.
And every now and again, you get to steal somebody's point, kill the zombie
right,
before they can.
You don't need to tell people like there's no game terms for it.
No.
It's natural speech. It's just like it just comes so naturally.
Yeah, it really does.
That's why this game doesn't have a tutorial. You've got the gun in your hand,
and you just
there's the zombie. Get rid of it.
Yeah, it's not
that guy's not a zombie. The zombie's attacking him. Save him.
Yeah.
It's intuitive gameplay like that makes it so much fun.
Yeah. About the only instruction you need in House of the Dead is don't kill the human.
Right. Don't kill the human.
Shoot everything else.
Do
but
everything
not the
you
human.
can to not die.
Make sure you shoot your bases and your boxes and anything that looks breakable. Just shoot everything on the screen.
Yep,
That's what I do.
Just shoot up a storm.
Just constantly
shoot your little heart out.
Constantly shoot and reload. Eventually, you'll hit something worth it. Or you'll end up killing a scientist on accident, and you won't get that health pack, and then you'll have to suffer for that. But it's fine. So, side note, speaking about these scientists, I find it both hilarious, and I really have to wonder what the hell is wrong with these scientists. Okay, so first off, they make zombies. Okay, that's a bad decision. Everyone would agree that's a bad decision.
Yes.
You keep going further into this mansion and getting into more of the secrets and everything. And they've decided to make the zombies cyborgs. Why? Why would you... You made zombies. Was that not a bad enough decision for your Tuesday? Like, did you then have to give them cybernetic enhancements? Like, what are we doing here, guys?
Anything worth doing is worth doing right, including fucking up.
I guess. I mean, if you're good, just fucking send it. I guess. Like, if you're gonna fuck up,
Just fuck it all the way.
But like, I was playing it earlier today actually, and when I got to the third stage, and there's all these like robo zombies and these weird like genetically enhanced zombies in test tubes that are doing backflips off my face and stuff. Why am I saving you people? What did you think was going to happen? Why should I help you? This is why I shoot half of you.
Right.
Because you made little freaky like fedora
gargoyle,
the gargoyles, yeah. But also like the weird little freaky Freddy Krueger fedora wearing guys in the suits who literally do ninja flips. And claw you.
Yeah.
You thought this was gonna go well for you? You have a hole in your lab with a giant crab spider. And I have a pistol. I kept thinking that the whole time.
It's like a 7-shot or a 6-shot pistol, so you have to reload a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely packing a 45. He's a government man.
Oh yeah.
Get a little gun nut in there.
Get that stopping power.
You gotta make sure you use 45. 9mm kills the body, but 45 kills the soul. You gotta make sure they don't come back as a lich. No, it's so good though. Like I just this is why I shoot the scientists though. 'Cause, like you guys made some
I'll
decisions.
live without that health pack.
I'm fine with it. You know
you
what?
You need to be punished for this.
I didn't see any limit on my continues. Just hit the A button. You on the other hand, your last continue, buddy.
I'll take that score. I'll take that score hit. I'll take that hit to my score.
I don't care about first place. I got this. It's so good though.
Oh, it's amazing. If you're enjoying this on YouTube, you'll see some footage of the game, and hopefully that really inspires you to want to play it.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's a heck of a lot of fun. Like that, and that's just all it is.
I mean,
fun.
it's so well designed.
Yes.
Like there's just something about the waves, the way the enemy waves work, where you get your breather moments, how you get your power ups. There's just something about House of the Dead that I think is way better than Time Crisis or Virtual Cop or any of those others. Yeah,
those games are great in their own
they're
right.
Fantastic.
You know, but
they're great.
The pacing, I guess you could say, of House of the Dead is like spot on. Where you need it to be.
Yes,
and it gives you some nice little spooks, and they're not spooks, but they're kind of spooks.
Yeah,
like, you're walking along, a zombie hangs upside down in front of your face, you pop him in the head.
The first time you see the hillbilly zombie with the chainsaw, like the first time you see him, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like how you hear them revving up off screen. You're like, oh, great.
Yep.
No, not this guy.
They
why him?
made a lot of him. They made a lot of him.
Well, obviously we know they put this mansion in Illinois. Then I guess I don't freaking know.
And it's I strongly suggest if you haven't played any other game we've talked about, please play House of the Dead.
Yeah, I mean, it is an arcade game. It will show you what an arcade is.
And if you can find it on an arcade, that's the way I suggest you play it.
Yeah, any way that you can get a light gun situation going.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely worth it. Because it just enhances the whole thing, and it's a relic of the past that needs to be preserved. Because especially because like I mentioned earlier, light guns literally don't work with modern TVs.
Yeah, they don't.
So even if you get a light gun that is guaranteed still functioning, unless you have an old school TV, it doesn't work. It will not work.
Yeah,
it just sucks.
So it's a lost art.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a lost art. But guys, until next time, I hope you go and check out House of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you enjoy it. Call to action. I can't believe they call it that. But yeah, like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoy us, please get the word out. Show us some love on Twitter. Leave a review. Anything you guys can do like that to help us out. Join the Discord. Having a lot of fun.
Discord's a lot of fun.
So
I'm not usually a big Discord guy, but I like that. I like the chatting with everybody on the Discord.
So until next time, enjoy that voice acting in House of the Dead.
Yeah, see you then.